What's going on, everybody? David Feldman-Makrias here, and today what we're going to go over is how to know and ensure that your VLAs or Google Vehicle Listing Ads are working. Okay, let's get right into it. So if a dealership asks me if the VLAs are working, that could mean a couple of different things. Are they on? Are they selling cars? Are they getting conversions? Are they showing up? So when I get asked that question, I always go to the same screen. The screen that I'm in right now is the Google Ads dashboard. Okay, it's the Google Ads portal, and I'm in the campaign view, and I'm filtering for this specific store only VLAs. And for this date range, I see that this dealer has spent $1,800 on VLAs of their $12,400 total monthly budget so far. So when a dealer asks me, how are they working or are VLAs working? The first thing I always think about is, are they leading to car sales, right? Well, VLA can't sell a car, you know? And let me back up a second here, too. Let's actually look for a VLA so we can see a live example. Okay, here is an example VLA. So I typed in new Grand Cherokee Jeep MSRP, and the VLA or vehicle listing ad shows up on top. We have sponsored, it reads vehicles for sale, and then we have a selection of new Jeep Grand Cherokees near me. And these are all sponsored by local dealerships, this being DuPage Chrysler in this case in point because of my area and because of my search. So that is an example VLA, and that is what I mean when I ever discuss the acronym VLA. So when we go to our back end of our portal, right, how do we know if it's working? And to refresh, it's what is generating a car sale. That's working to a car dealer. If you can link anything 100% to a car sale, then the dealer will be happy. But oftentimes in advertising, there's so many different touch points that it is near impossible to determine which actually sold the car. They all work together. So when I look at working, I look at a few different metrics. The first one I'm going to go to is conversions. And it's funny, I don't always see VLAs convert. So this filtered view, which is only showing VLAs, has 18 conversions so far this month. And that is a cost per conversion of around $100 if we spend $1,871 and got 18 conversions. Now, here's the thing about conversions. I am seeing conversion tracking being less and less reliable. It used to be very reliable, but since Chrome's deprecation of cookies and just the tight restrictions that we have on data privacy, and they're growing even more, and with GA4 and just over time, I'm not seeing the Google Ads platform be as reliable as it once was tracking conversions. It's still good to look at, but you always have to mention that caveat. I feel redundant because I say it all the time, but we have to take it with a grain of salt. And this shows that most of these models, because that's what these campaigns are. I can't show you to protect, the client's interests, but most of these are just new car models. There's one used car model campaign that just clumps all of their used cars into one. But most of these are new car models. This one specifically, this one shows 15 conversions out of the 18, but the rest show not many. So, okay, that makes me zoom into this campaign. This campaign actually seems like it's working. It does have the highest click-through rate. So now, before I get off of conversions, what I want to utilize to, ensure that my interpretation of it working and these conversions working, I'm going to look to vanity metrics to be able to determine that, which include clicks, impressions, average cost per click, click-through rate. Those aren't hard, sticky metrics that I'm going to say, yeah, that sold the car. But those metrics, when looked at, are going to help me ensure that, this campaign actually did pretty good and the data can be more reliable. So I believe it more so that this actually has the highest click-through rate out of all the VLA campaigns. It does have a cost per click that is on the lower side, which is good. Cost per conversion is good, But again, I look at conversions, it got 15. So the next thing I'm going to want to look at is what type of conversions did this campaign actually get? Okay, so what I did now is I isolated this campaign and I'm looking at the breakout of these 15 conversions. Unfortunately, I have to block out what the conversions are labeled, but I can tell you the first one is a get e-price. The second one is a confirm availability. The third one is a test drive. And then the fourth one is just a general lead form submit that isn't necessarily get e-price. So what's working the best is actually form submissions off this VLA campaign. We are tracking more form submissions off this VLA campaign than any other site, any other type of conversion. So not every conversion is made equal. Some leads of confirm availability are more important than, say, starting a chat, but they're all important. Ranking conversion importance, I think, would be a great topic to discuss at some future time. So that lets me know a little bit more into if this campaign is actually working. Now, this one I would say yes, but what goes to say for all the other campaigns? What other metrics do I look at and does my team look at to determine if they're actually working for selling cars? Let's take a look. Cool, so now I'm back in the campaign window. You can see all the same metrics here. Now, one of the things I like to look at as well, especially if VLAs aren't converting, is I want to see how much they're being interacted with, meaning clicked on. And I also want to see how much they show up in the search and where they show up. So I'm going to look to share metrics. So share, if you're familiar with any sort of advertising, is just how much piece of the pie are you getting. If the whole pie is 1,000 searches or 100 clicks, and I get, let's take the first example. If I get, out of those 1,000 searches, if I get a 35% search impression share, then I am showing up 350 searches out of 1,000. If I have a click share of 15% out of 100 clicks in the market, I am capturing 15 of them. So that's how share works. And what I look to specifically for VLAs, the first thing I'm going to look to in the campaign view is something called click share. Unfortunately, VLAs, and once they went to Performance Max, search impression share is not available. I'm not really sure why, because PMax goes over all of Google's networks, right? So why would they be able to show me click shares without search impression share? Maybe because search impression share is on the search network only, and click share maybe isn't limited to the search network. It's across all the networks, which I still don't understand how they would calculate that. But this is the best that we have. And I'm going to show you actually how to see search impression share for VLAs in just a moment. But at least in the campaign window, like viewing the campaigns, I'm going to look at click share here. And right now it shows I have an aggregated 21.48% click share. I don't like looking at aggregated click share because, again, I want to know by specific model. That's how car dealers think, right? That's how, that's how anybody should really think. You want to know by specific product, specific model. So this one has 45% click share. Any click share I see between 40 and 50%. I don't want to say it's dominant, but it's solid. You have a good amount of clicks in that market. Anything below that, really 35, 33, you don't have a lot of clicks in that market. So, we're well saturated for this campaign here too. We're hanging on with this one. And then we have some that are less than 20. So I would say to this store, if the click share is less than 20 and we're not converting, right, then we need to bump that up a little bit because we're really not getting as many clicks as we could be, and that's in the market. Now, it depends on what area we're targeting. If this is our backyard, I want to increase that amount of click share. I want to own it. But if it's not necessarily our backyard and scopes well beyond that, then you might have diminishing returns when it comes to budget. So again, I like to look at, what did we talk about? First, we talked about conversions. Then we talked about click share. And now I just want to leave you guys too with one final one, impression share. Impression share is the amount of impressions that we're eligible to be shown for in a search, that percentage. And it shows that we don't have any here. Not so fast. VLAs actually do have search impression share, and we can track them, and I'm going to show you how right now. Okay, so what I did was I actually clicked on the campaign in question. I clicked then into one of the VLA campaigns, and this is why I highly recommend to separate these out per model so you can understand the insights on a per model basis rather than looking at chargers and challengers together or Sorrentos and Tellurides together. They're two separate entities. So when I go into insights, once I click into the campaign and I scroll down a little bit, I can get what's called auction insights. I'm looking at the last 7 days, but I can also compare to the last 28. But this will tell me an impression share for this actual model, right? And we're in, I think our color is yellow in this instance. And then we have competitors in blue, green, orange, and red. It's also shown on that graph, on this graph over here. So I can see by day what's going on, what are the trends. And then we can infer, okay, if there's big spikes or big dips, it's probably related to budget or inventory, right? So we can kind of tell, okay, what's going on. And then as I scroll further down, the reporting will get more complex. I'll be able to see different store names. I'll be able to see how often not only they actually search up or are shown, but what their overlap rate is. Like how much are they showing up when we're showing up? And these are all really good items to know. And that's why impression share is really, really positive to know to determine if your VLAs are working. So, all right, guys, that is pretty much it. To conclude what we talked about, how do we know if our VLA is working? Well, first, we're going to look at conversions. Okay, we're going to see if your VLAs are getting any conversions. If they are, great. If they're not, well, then we need to dive deeper. Are your conversions set up correctly? Do we are tracking the right conversions? Which conversions are we actually getting? If we are indeed getting conversions. Second, I'm going to look at share, specifically click share, because it's easily identifiable in the campaign view. You'll be able to see exactly what's going on as far as how many clicks you're getting from the VLA campaigns compared to how many clicks are in the market. Again, if I have a 40% click share, and we assume there's 1,000 searches in the market, then we're capturing 400. Anywhere between, I think 30 to 50, what did I say before? 35 to 40, 35 to 45. In that area, it's decent, right? Decent. But also you want to look at impression share. That's number 3. Impression share, anywhere between 70 to 80% is dominant, okay? Impression share, same sort of thing as click share. Impression share is how many impressions we actually show up for. So again, though, one thing to consider, impression share, you can show up anywhere on the page. And I've seen, as of recently, VLAs not always show up at the top. They might be on the bottom. So 70 to 80% dominant. Once you go past 80%, it's diminishing returns. But those are the 3 items I look at metric-wise to make sure that Google VLAs are actually working. Thank you guys so much. Let me know in the comments if this was helpful to you or if you'd like for me to go over anything else in depth. And I will see you in the next video. Take care.